And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truths and around real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, tax planning, and so much more. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, where our number one goals are to educate, entertain, enlighten, and we're going to engage you to help you win and live a better life.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Now, we want you to save our hotline number in your phone. At some point, you're going to need it, 813-670-7372.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
We love it when the hotline rings and blings and all that good stuff, 813-670-7372.
Here's my number.
And check out our website, consumerqb.com, the newly redesigned consumerqb.com. And you'll see all of our show information, contact. You can watch the live stream of our television show version, compliments of WeBeam TV. And you can click on the show contributors tab. And that's the most important tab there because our net worth is in our network. And the network here with the Consumer Quarterback Show is over 80 show partners that are aligned, and they all have the same goals of being that consumer advocate to help you win. Let's go around the horn now, make our introductions. Back in studio, Jason Brooks, mortgage expert here in Tampa Bay, eMortgage Management, and the Delbro team. Welcome in, sir.
Absolutely. Good to be here again. Today we're going to talk a couple of things, one of which I wanted to speak a little bit to our First Step program, which is we'll get into a little bit more of that in a little bit, but also wanted to talk about what we're doing for Breast Cancer Awareness Month and
Nice.
some of the benefits that we're offering back not only to the customer, but also donations back to the cancer research.
I like that. Yeah, man, I've done a lot of work with Children's Cancer Center. I was the MC for the Wine, Women, and Shoes event a couple years ago, and every year I participate as a soul man.
Mm-hmm.
And man, that's a fun time over there with the Children's Cancer Center. So that's great. Thanks for putting in that work in terms of helping out the nonprofits.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Also, attorney Shawn Yesner in the house as well. Bankruptcy lawyer, YesnerLaw.com. Welcome in.
Yeah, thanks. Back again on the show. I think it's been a while. Last show appearance I was supposed to make was canceled by a lady named Irma.
Oh, man. What happened with Irma?
Back talking about real estate law, bankruptcy law. We can cover all those different topics.
Yeah, good stuff. And we're going to talk about Apple here. Interesting article out of Barron's. It says Apple could be trillion-dollar tech giant with tax reform. So they might be liking what Trump is planning to do here in terms of tax reform. We'll talk about that. They could be one of the biggest beneficiaries of U.S. tax reform here. And interesting story coming up. We got our feel-good story of the week as well. We've got an inventor that makes a cool prosthetic limb for kids and his garden shed for free. So really cool story about a gentleman that is going to be in our feel-good story. And we got our top 10 TV shows of all time coming up as well. We're going to have our expert contributors guess where they can line up these shows of all time. Some interesting shows in there. And as you know, I'm the owner of Platinum MVP Realty. I got to let you know about a couple of hot listings here with PlatinumMVPRealty.net. Check out PlatinumMVPRealty.net. And I got a property in Largo. I want you to check it out if you're in the market. It's 14465 Tanglewood Drive in Largo. This is a 4-bedroom, 4-bath property. The Bay Hills subdivision just reduced. The owners are motivated here. We got a fenced-in backyard, and it's a wonderful ranch-style pool home in Largo. And also in the old northeast section of St. Petersburg, check out this beautiful property here. This is 215 12th Avenue Northeast. Now, this is pre-construction, $1.19 million, and it's a 4-bedroom, 5-bath property, and you have the opportunity to design this home as it's progressing through construction. Now, this is SIPS panel housing. So many people would say it's superior to even block construction. It's superior to wood frame, most definitely. So it's a low energy cost efficiency at 215 12th Avenue Northeast in St. Petersburg. A couple of beautiful real estate properties here in Tampa Bay. And we don't care if you're climbing a corporate ladder, if you throw a ladder in your truck on the way to work, this show's for you. We're going to help you win. And Jason Brooks, what are you seeing out there, man? Mortgage expert here in Tampa Bay, and how are things looking?
They're looking good. I mean, we obviously still have inventory issues, so it's, if you find something you love, be sure you're in a position and you're approved to be able to make an offer immediately.
Right.
Because I see it every day. I get somebody I'm talking to about a property on Monday, and on Tuesday it's under contract. So, also as far as be prepared. I mean, a lot of people don't realize how many different caveats there are to getting into a home. If you're self-employed and you're not having somebody in the mortgage industry actually review your tax returns prior to you filing those returns, if you plan on buying. That's a big no-no. You need to have somebody that you trust that knows what they're looking at when it comes to self-employed customers, and also too, you don't just settle. There's lots of different options out there when it comes to financing. Traditionally, the big banks aren't the best when it comes to getting creative and having differentiation within different products and guidelines.
Right.
We're a full-service direct lender. We have no overlays, which essentially means we can pretty much underwrite anything. Manually, we can actually do manual underwrite. So even if we don't get an automated approval, a lot of people are just turned down as soon as they don't get an automated approval. We can manually underwrite those loans, which is rare. Most people don't do that. So the other thing too is we actually have what I was alluding to earlier in the show is, our First Step program. What that is it's extremely targeted credit restoration. We are able to make really fast moves on credit scores within 3 to 4 days. It's something that we can do very fast. It's something that we can do very efficiently.
What do you mean by that? Make moves on credit scores?
Each credit bureau has an algorithm. So each algorithm is a little bit different, but they all pretty much base themselves on the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
About 35% of your available score is based upon your utilization rates, or what's called basically balance to high credit limit ratio on revolving accounts, which is credit cards. A lot of people don't realize that, depending on the time of month you make your payment,
mm-hmm.
That may not be the best time of the month to make that payment, because the the creditors only report one day out of the month, and they report that balance that day. Now, typically, every time I see a credit report, they're like, I go through credit, the actual liabilities, and oh no, my balance isn't that high anymore. I pay that down or pay that off every month. Well, because of the day they pay it off, it doesn't report that way. So there's little intricacies that you can do in a very short amount of time to actually target a score that you need. So a perfect example is somebody with a 660 credit score. Granted, you can get a loan you can go government insured, you can go with a conforming product, but a 700 versus a 660 is going to get you better rates, going to get you lower mortgage insurance if you're not putting 20% down. There's other benefits to having that higher score. So we actually do that for pretty much all of our client base. So it doesn't matter where your scores are. We're always trying to improve that, not only for now, but that helps you, down the line. And we actually take the time to actually explain what you can do ongoing to continuously improve your score over time.
And ancillary, insurances, all types of things.
Car loans, credit, even your credit cards. It gives you bargaining power to go back and negotiate lower rates with your credit card company. So there's lots of different things that you can do to improve the credit score. We have electronic access to the bureaus, which credit repair companies do not. They can't contact the bureaus directly through, electronically. They can't pull their own credit report. So using a credit repair agency, it takes a lot more time. A lot of what they do is they actually dispute a lot of accounts. They try to get things removed by disputing them directly. Disputing an account doesn't help you when it goes to a mortgage. As a matter of fact, for the most part, if you have disputed accounts on your mortgage, you actually have to have them removed and the credit rescored based on not being in dispute. And the reason for that is very simple. If you dispute something, it removes it from the scoring model. We know that as a finance company, we know that as a mortgage company, we know that the agencies, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, VA, USDA understand that as well. Mm-hmm. So they know that the score is being artificially inflated because you're disputing accounts. The only way you can dispute an account is if it's not yours or it's inaccurate, and you need to be able to document that.
Right.
If you can't, then you can't dispute it. So what happens is they spend 3, 5, 6, 7 months dispute, and they go through the whole process with a credit repair agency. It costs them anywhere from $100 to $150 a month. They have to pay for their own credit reports. There's no monitoring. If you want to monitor, you have to pull your own again, which costs money. And it could take 3 to 6 months to get the score you were looking for. And then you come to a mortgage company. We say, oh, good news. All the stuff you just did, we have to undo all of that.
Wow.
Because we have to remove the disputes on the accounts. So that being said, this avoids all of that. Obviously, we are the mortgage company. We know what you can or can't do. Mm-hmm. Therefore, it allows us to do things. Plus, we have electronic access to the credit bureaus. I can monitor the score electronically. I pull a financial credit report, which is a whole lot more accurate than something that you're going to get as a consumer. And we can do it very fast. So, I mean, 3 to 5 days, sometimes a week. It just depends on your ability to do the things that we need to do to get the score improvement that you're looking for.
Yeah, and if you just joined us, I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. We're talking with Jason Brooks here in studio, mortgage expert here in Tampa Bay. And I always like to talk about working with a local lender. We talk a lot of times, you hear these big companies on the show or all over, broadcast television, all over the place, spending millions and millions of dollars of our dollars, taxpayer dollars, and then you walk into these banks. I don't have to say the name; you know the names. They're on the corner. They bought up all the best real estate with all of our bailout money back in the day, and they're going to assign you to a customer service rep. That customer service rep's going to know with a basic set game plan, but he's not going to be able to call an audible. When we need an audible in the lending process, Jason, can do that with his team. That's what he's just described through that process. And so Jason, what's some of the biggest threats that you see right now? You talked about self-employed borrowers not understanding the proper way to document income. Let's quarterback these transactions here.
The big ones that, again, it changes so often. People don't realize how often guidelines change. They shift. They modify themselves. To go back real quick on the first step thing, just to make sure everybody's on the same page, we do not charge a fee to do this. This costs me a ton of money. By all means, it costs me money. It's not cheap to do, but we do it as a benefit to our client base. So it doesn't cost them a dime to figure out what we can or can't do. So it does. Obviously, just wanted to throw that out there. There's no cost to it. Also, as far as the changes, like some of the big changes we see quite a bit is little intricacies within self-employed borrowers. Perfect example is years past you could use cash distributions as income. Well, that's changed now. Technically, you cannot use a cash distribution as income. You can, but only up to the point that you claim it on your K-1 under line 1, under what income that you actually claim. The reason for that is because we know that from the distribution perspective, we know that you took that money. However, you only pay taxes on, in line 1. That being said, it works inversely as well. But people don't realize is this is a problem too. Let's say you made $300,000 on your K-1, but under distributions, it says you took 90. Well, guess what your income is? It's 90 now because we know even though, yes, you paid taxes on 300, you only took 90.
Right.
So we're only going to give you credit for, and again, this isn't us. This is Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. We have to follow the guide. Exactly. Man. This is the agency guidelines. So it I work with a lot of high net worth, multiple corporations, customers that are coming to me, and I usually work with them a year in advance. This is how it happens. They come to me, they want a loan. I'm like, it's not going to happen right now. Here's why. Yep. This is how you need to file in order for this to work. You can still get the tax benefit. However, you can then use that income as qualifying income to buy a house. Now, there are obviously alternative types of loans, but you're not going to see the rates you see in the paper. You're not going to see high 3s, low 4s on a bank statement transaction. Right. However, we can do, if you're putting money down, you have the ability to use your business bank statements as income. We can do 12 months, 24 months, personal or business for that matter. And we go for deposits to qualify. And
those loans are great. You get in the property, you get your ducks in order, you refinance it later, pull out some equity, reduce PMI, whatever you might be looking to do.
6 months to a year, you plan ahead and then you refinance and get into a traditional conventional product.
Excellent. Yeah, good stuff. More from Jason Brooks and also Shawn Yesner in the house. Attorney Shawn Yesner. He's a bankruptcy lawyer. He's a real estate attorney here in Tampa Bay as well. We got our feel-good story coming up. And let's give a quick shout-out to Brio Tuscan Grill at the International Plaza, one of our restaurant partners. Have you ever tried the Italian fare over at Brio Tuscan Grill? It's a phenomenal restaurant. You got to check them out. International Plaza, 2223 Northwest Shore Boulevard. Jason, you've been there, right?
Oh, yeah. It's phenomenal. I go there all the time. You took me there once, and I've been there like 5 times since.
Oh, it's great, right? Yeah, I love it. White tablecloth, the best service, and great food over at Brio Tuscan Grill. And stay with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We got the top 10 TV shows of all time coming up here on our show, and more from our expert contributors. We got mortgage expert Jason Brooks, eMortgage Management, Shawn Yesner, bankruptcy law, real estate law, YesnerLaw.com. Stay with us. Don't touch that dial. Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at ConsumerQB.com.
Enjoy tranquil seclusion in an eco-lover's paradise. Paddling through the mangroves where the only sounds you'll hear are the sounds of nature. Because you deserve to relax on vacation, visit Pasco County, Florida.
Hi, Jackie Skelton from JR World Travel here. If you travel, you need a licensed professional travel consultant, not a computer. Your licensed professional consultant can get you more for your time and your money. Value for your money and experience, not marketing salesmanship. When you're sick, you call the doctor. When you need legal advice, you call an attorney. So the next time you want to go on any type of travel, call your licensed professional travel consultant who actually represents you. We specialise in group travel, family reunions, weddings, to escorting large groups or making special arrangements for the disabled. Please call 844-249-0190. We are a full-service travel consultancy offering worldwide concierge service. Air, land, sea, rivers, resorts, locally, nationally and internationally. Remember that number, 844-249-0190.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Quarterback Show, quarterbacking transactions for our sellers out there. As the owner of Platinum MVP Realty, we want to help you sell. We want to help you profit more on the sale of your real estate. And we've got some great assets and some great inventory right now. Check out PlatinumMVPRealty.net and PlatinumMVPRealty.net. And we can also offer, rent versus own analysis. We'll let you know how much you're paying in rent versus what you can own. We can talk to you about the value of your property. We got some great tools. We can do a comparable market analysis for you. And we also have a free foreclosure list as well. If you're out there, you're an investor, you're thinking about buying, we'd love to put together a free foreclosure list. A lot of ways that we can help you here. Again, 80 show partners on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we all want to help you win no matter what area of interest: real estate, finance, estate planning, tax planning, legal advice. There's so many ways that we can help you here with the Consumer Quarterback Show, but it is up to you to reach out. 813-670-7372 and 813-670-7372. And giving a shout out to Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora on St. Pete Beach. Now, you got the party of the fall coming up here this Sunday over at Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora. My man Ian Beckles is going to be live 11 to 1. They got the pool party going on Sundays over at the Zamora. Check them out if you want to see the live broadcast 11 to 1. Ian and his team, Street Lace DJs, a lot of folks over there having some fun. I'll probably be hanging out as well. And, a lot of our team. So check out Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora, St. Pete Beach. Now, make sure when you make your reservation that you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you, and you're going to get a 15 to 20% discount off of your room stay over at Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora, St. Pete Beach. Excellent food at the Castile restaurant on site, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you've got the rooftop yoga on the weekends, beautiful views of the Gulf of Mexico, and all that beautiful St. Pete Beach has to offer. And I've got a hot listing right outside of the Hotel Zamora as well. If you're a real estate investor looking to purchase 3610 Casablanca Avenue, St. Pete Beach. This is a 3-bedroom, 2 and 1/2 bath. It's a duplex, so it's a great investment opportunity. $625,000 on the beach, and you literally walk across Gulf Boulevard, and you are on the beach in beautiful St. Petersburg Beach, and a great place to live, work, and play is Tampa Bay. So in studio with me today, Jason Brooks. He's a mortgage expert, eMortgage Management, the Del Bro team. Shawn Yesner, Bankruptcy Law, and YesnerLaw.com. And we got some feel-good stories of the week. We got our top 10 TV shows of all time. So let's go ahead and jump into it with Shawn here. We're going to hear more from Jason coming up. But Shawn, what are you seeing out there? It's been a little while since you've been on the show.
Yeah, it's been a while. So I'm going to talk about something that's going to make Jason feel spectacular. I read an article recently about the success rates in Chapter 13 bankruptcies.
Oh, wow.
And so Chapter 13, if you remember, those are the payment plan bankruptcies. Those are not the liquidation where the trustee comes in and takes all your stuff. That's where you're making a monthly payment to the trustee. But I read the article and actually turned it into a podcast episode. It ended up being episode 79 of the Crushing Debt podcast. But it had some interesting statistics in there. So if you filed, and let me define success. Success meant that you made all the payments due under the plan, and the plan was discharged.
Right.
So a 5-year plan, they made all their payments, and they were done with their bankruptcy. So the success rate, so the completion rate, was over 50% for people that filed by themselves. When they filed with a spouse, it went down. The success rates went down when they filed with a spouse.
More variables.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was over 50% when they filed by themselves. Success rates were higher when they filed with an attorney versus filing by themselves, which I think is sort of obvious since we sort of know where the landmines are in the process. We can help them steer through it. And then the success rates were higher with the first time they filed. The success rates dropped the second time they filed. So there's a lot more detail in the podcast episode. I've got a copy of the article if anyone wants to read that kind of stuff. But in my mind, what that said is that you're much more successful filing by yourself with an attorney the first time.
Yeah.
Any of those variables change, your success rates go way down.
Yeah, and it's important for folks to understand that, the United States of America was founded on these beliefs that there's no debtor's jail. You're able to take debt that you can't pay. You physically, something happened, medical, a lot of times, job loss. There's issues that happen, and it's a great country, and these are one of the reasons why we are great.
Well, and it's actually interesting. So thank you for that softball. The next week's episode 80, a buddy of mine who's also an attorney down in Sarasota, who happens to be a little bit of a history buff, he and I were talking, and I said, one of the biggest problems I have in my industry is people are afraid that they're going to go to jail if they don't pay their debts. It's the whole concept of debtor's prison. And I said, but, debtor's prison doesn't exist anymore. Well, he's sort of a history buff, and he said, well, do you want me to research it and come on the podcast and talk about debtor's prison? I said, sure. So the next week's episode, which is episode 80, is he and I talking all about debtor's prison, the history of debtor's prison, what it was, how it started. It did come over to the States. It did come into the colonies, and then how the colonies ended up changing debtor's prison, eliminating debtor's prison, how the Bankruptcy Act came to be, which is the predecessor of the Bankruptcy Code. And so all that, as a bankruptcy attorney, I thought it was interesting. As a history buff, he had a really good time, and I think it was a really good episode. We really played off each other well in terms of talking about there is no such thing as debtor's prison. You can't go to jail for not paying your debts.
Yeah, at least in the United States here. And
right.
You look at Poldark and some of those we got some TV shows coming up, but that was one that my parents, we got us into. We started watching a little bit, but set in the old school, and the guy bought some type of facility, and he couldn't make the payments, and he was facing debtor's jail, and he got the last minute bailout, the old stuff that happens on TV shows. But it was pretty neat to see that. So here we are in Tampa Bay, going almost into 2018. We're in the fourth quarter. We just started the fourth quarter here, and it's a situation where if you're looking for help, if you don't know, and a lot of times maybe it's not you. I mean, this is Intelligent Talk Radio. We got a lot of intelligent listeners here, and we don't want to stroke with that paintbrush everyone. But if you're in a situation, or maybe a loved one is, they're fighting debt, you keep hearing them griping, it's one of those things where you get the complaints, and you're fielding those complaints, and you say, hey, why don't you do something about it? Why don't you call attorney Shawn Yesner, highly respected attorney here in Tampa Bay? And what does that process look and feel like, Shawn?
We'll offer a free consultation. I'll typically give them an hour, and we can meet in person. We can meet on the telephone, and we'll go over every single option that's available. And bankruptcy may not always be the best option. Bankruptcy may not always be the option that we choose. I was able to help a client recently eliminate $21,000 in debt. Just went away, and they removed it from credit.
Wow.
And everything. It was the guy turned in a jet ski.
Wow.
And I caught the creditor in making some mistakes in the way that they were trying to collect the deficiency balance on that jet ski. And so sued him under the consumer protection laws that we have in place, got an email from the opposing attorney that said, hey, Why don't both sides just walk away? We call it even.
There you go.
Done. 21 grand gone.
Boom. I like that.
That's awesome.
Take control of your future. And we're going to help you quarterback these transactions. And there's, again, this is another success story that we have of being proactive. It takes you to be proactive out there and just reach out to our hotline, 813-670-7372, 670-REQB, and consumerqb.com. So we're going to help you win more from our expert contributors. We got our top 10 list coming up. We got our feel-good story of the week. And more from our expert contributors here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Tampa Bay and the Gulf Coast region's #1 consumer advocate program. We're helping you win. Stay with us. Don't touch that dial. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, quarterback show, former USF football player, played on the inaugural team at USF, and real excited about the Bulls. Great season going here. We got the Bucks improving every week. Great day to be living and working in Tampa Bay. Great place to be. Giving a shout out to my friends over at Signature Massage and Facial Spa in Tampa as well. If you're ever looking for a place to get a massage, I highly recommend Signature Massage and Facial Spa in Tampa. They have a great daily offer, $49.95, no contracts. And if you come in during the early bird hours, you'll get $10 off of that. And also for those muscles and knots that need extra work, ask about getting a deep tissue or sports massage. And also if skincare is what you're looking for, they have amazing facial and microderm packages. Check out Signature Massage and Facial Spa at 11248 West Hillsborough Avenue in Tampa, and give them a call. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you at 925-8898, 813-925-8898. And if you let them know that we sent you over there, you're going to get also another additional 10% off as well. And I want to give a shout out to Felicia Lacaille with Healthy Gourmet. She's got meal plans starting at $90 a week, 10 meals delivered fresh to your home or your office, organic veggies, natural proteins delivered fresh 3 times a week. Healthy Gourmet, excellent food. I love it. Monday, Wednesday, Friday roll around, I get a new shipment of food. It's excellent. It's great. I was driving my daughter to school, and she says, I was always getting on her, what did you have for breakfast? At least making sure she had something. She's finally to the point where she can kind of make her own breakfast if she wants. And I said, yeah, I had some chili from Felicia Lacaille from Felicia, and she goes, Dad, you eat chili for breakfast? I said, hey, I'm not picky. I love it.
Yeah, so. She delivers to me every week now. I have it coming to my office, and the food is phenomenal. I don't even choose from the menu anymore. I just gave her free reign. I'm like, just whatever. It's all good. Everything that I've had so far has been amazing. So. Yeah,
man. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you get the chili shipment? Has a little piece of cornbread in there?
I probably have it in there. I haven't eaten that one yet. I haven't eaten that one yet. But the last couple of days, I've actually had a lot of lunch appointments. But yeah, no, I probably have 6 or 8 meals in there that I'll probably kill in the next 2 days.
It's great, man. Carry it with you in your car. Mm-hmm. You're coming out of that appointment. It's 3:30. You start getting a little bit hangry. You're kind of like, oh, I'm ready. And then, boom, I just pull it out, and it's all good.
Yep, absolutely.
Little wraps and stuff. So shout out to Felicia there. All right, so interesting article here. I want to open this up to the panel here. We got in studio Jason Brooks, mortgage expert, E-Mortgage Management, the Del Bro team. Shawn Yesner, local attorney here, bankruptcy law, real estate law. So Barron's put out an article here. It said Apple could be trillion-dollar tech giant with tax reform. So it says Apple earnings could get a big boost if the U.S. tax reform comes to pass, according to RBC Capital Markets analyst here. So Apple, one of the biggest tech beneficiaries from U.S. tax reform, and it says with legislative efforts now focused on U.S. tax reform, we think that Apple could be one of the biggest beneficiaries in our space. The 4 big policy levers are reduction in federal corporate tax rate, which could bring effective tax rate below 20%. So let's take these one at a time. So the corporate tax rate, for the longest time, we've been taxed. We've had the highest corporate tax rate on the planet.
Right.
So this is something that I guess, Trump's moving forward with now with his administration. And it seems to be, at least on the surface, something that could, get everybody supporting, and not everybody, but a majority supporting.
It's a hard school of thought because we've been in this position for so long with corporations. I mean, the easy, people look at the national debt and say, well, if you increase corporate taxes and which make the bulk of the money, then we would be out of our debt. The problem is the cost of goods goes up. We're moving companies out of the country.
Yep.
They've already left. They can't come back. If they did want to come back right now under the current tax plan, they would have to pay a tremendous amount of money on the assets they bring back in. So I understand where they're coming from. There's a couple of things in there that I'm not 100% in agreement with.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's a lot of benefit to what they're doing, and it's a long-term picture. The long-term picture is we keep our companies here. We make a better product. It allows us to export those products to other countries and actually compete.
Yeah.
And we're not losing workers, or opportunities more so than workers. But yes, is it good? We'll see. There's no real way until it's implemented that we're going to understand fully what's really happening. There's no way to know.
And even during the election cycle, there were a couple companies, one of the Carrier AC or Ford, then and then they talked about it. I think they reversed some of those decisions,
right, and kept them here. Exactly.
Yeah.
The funny thing is some of the stuff that they're doing with the individual taxes is a little aggressive. Again, now state taxes. If you live in a state where you don't either you pay state tax, now that's not deductible. You cannot reduce your taxable income from the amount that you already paid in. Big states like New York, California. You make good income in those states, that's going to be a problem. I mean, that's a huge impact on you as an individual. Plus, there's a lot of other eliminations of itemized deductions. So, like I said, we'll see. We'll see what it really looks like when it rolls out and it gets passed. But I understand where they're coming from initially. We have to make it easier for businesses to stay here and to, again, at the end
America
of the day,
first,
if it's cheaper for them, all it does is it comes back down to, it's a cheaper product for us. It cuts into our cost, it goes down. So,
yep, a lot of benefits to America. The more companies that stay here, they manufacture here, they deliver here, they put it together here. Shawn, any comments on that?
No, I think you guys covered it all pretty good.
All right, here's number 2 then, deduction of capital investments. So the framework allows for expensing CapEx on depreciated assets under structures. While it's not clear that would constitute a structure, we assumed that Apple would be able to expense about $8 billion versus the 2017 CapEx is $16 billion.
Mm-hmm. So depreciation, that's one of the things that we as a mortgage company get to add back into your income because it's not something that you actually spent money on to deduct. So that allows you, and again, depending on where they're going to expand it to, could go into investment properties, business. If you have a small Schedule C and you have business machinery that you operate, things like that you can actually depreciate the value of. That does help. So that'd be a good thing to remove that.
Limitations to tax deduction on interest. And then number 4 is reparation of offshore cash at a low tax rate. So the tax proposal does not specify a tax rate on accumulated reparation earnings. We assume that 10% tax rate on roughly $219 billion of earnings could potentially, basically it's saying they're going to be able to bring that money back in. I believe.
Exactly, which is, again, part of the whole benefit. That's what they're trying to do is bring some of that money back in and being able to do it without getting, hit with 35%.
Bring it in. Let's boost our economy, right? So, all right. So we got our feel-good story of the week. Let's jump into that.
Tell me something good.
So this is a cool story here. An inventor makes a cool prosthetic limb for kids in his garden shed for free. So a man who was born without a lower left arm creates incredible prosthetic limbs for children for free. Stephen Davis spent years without his limb, and he went on to look out for options for prosthetics and disappointing look of arms and offer disappointment online. He was then seen by Dr. Drew Murray, a volunteer for Enable, who decided to design and build one using a 3D printer. Since then, the 43-year-old inventor launched Team Unlimited, which created custom, lightweight, cool designs for children that they want to wear. We've done Iron Man designs, Harry Potter, Lego, Spider-Man. Davis told BBC News, the key is making something that child actually wants to wear and feels cool and showing their friends. So that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Isn't that neat?
That's really awesome. Good for him.
Good feel-good story there.
Yeah, especially with kids, the way their psyches can be, especially if they're missing a limb, to get something like that for free and for them feel a little bit normal and yeah, I think it's fantastic.
This is great. It goes on to read that he keeps the cost low. He charges about $25 an arm and covers these costs.
Thought you were going to say he charges an arm and a leg.
Yeah, no pun on that one, right?
Yeah, that's crazy. $25.
So
prosthetic market is insane. It's usually thousands and thousands.
So get out there and support Team Unlimited, LIMB Limited. Wow. So check that out. Support those guys. All right, so let's go back to Shawn. Yeah, Shawn, you were kind of making some more points around the bankruptcy, maybe the real estate space. What else are you seeing out there?
Well, it's interesting. So I found a quote that I really like that would go back to our tax discussion, and I know a lot of people were a little upset in terms of different people who are trying to minimize their taxes. And I found this quote that I thought was really interesting. It says, "Anyone may arrange his affairs so that his taxes shall be as low as possible. He is not bound to choose that pattern which best pays the treasury. There is not even a patriotic duty to increase one's taxes. Over and over again, the courts have said that there is nothing sinister in so arranging affairs as to keep taxes as low as possible. Everyone does it, rich and poor alike, and all do right, for nobody owes any public duty to pay more than the law demands. That was from a District Court of Appeals decision in 1934.
Wow.
And I thought it was still applicable today.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It is, yeah.
I like that. Yeah, you look at, in the cycle, the election cycles, Romney got beat up over it, in the past. And, in a lot of the big corporations, the way they structure their debt, they structure things as well. And reach out to Jake Alexander as well, a partner on the show here, Alexander Financial. He just posted a really cool video yesterday about that. Jake Alexander, and a friend of the program. He's our enrolled, not CPA, but he's an enrolled agent with the IRS. He's our go-to guy for all things tax returns. Jake Alexander, one of the best in the business. So here in studio, if you just joined us, I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. We got Jason Brooks. He's a mortgage expert with eMortgage Management, the Del Bro team. Shawn Yesner, bankruptcy law and real estate lawyer here in Tampa Bay with YesnerLaw.com. And we're coming into our next break, but when we come back, let's talk about the top 10 TV shows of all time, and we're going to jump into more of our lightning round, give you some top tips, things to do, nuggets of advice, ways that you can live a better life here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. So we'll see you on the other side of the break. Do not touch that dial. Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
Hey everybody, I'm Forbes Riley, celebrity TV fitness host and creator of The Spin Gym. I'm here today with Brandon Rhymes, and you're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Great ways to get happy, healthy, and wealthy.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at ConsumerQB.com.
Because you deserve to relax on vacation. Visit Pasco County, Florida.
listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Realty, giving a shout out to Temple Float, my friends over at Temple Float. Escape from the stresses of life with flotation therapy. Check out my friends at Temple Float in Palm Harbor, 35054 U.S. Highway 19, just south of Alderman there. It's at the north end of Fountains Plaza and in the back of the building. And you can give them a call directly, 727-771-7177, and let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. TempleFloat.com, 727-771-7177, TempleFloat.com. I enjoy it going in there and floating. It's really cool. Have you guys ever seen that?
Sensory deprivation.
Yeah, it's really neat, isn't it?
If it's done right, it's really cool.
Yeah, and you got the water with 1,000 pounds of salt, so you're just literally floating, and it enhances your meditation, your incantations, your whatever you're doing at the time. Stretching, I get in there and stretch a little bit, But all right, so back here in the studio, we got Jason Brooks, mortgage expert, mortgage management, the Delbro team. We got Shawn Yesner, bankruptcy law, yesnerlaw.com. And I'm the host of the show, Brandon Rhymes, owner of Platinum MVP Realty. I want to let you know about 2 more hot listings I've got in Plant City. This one's 5421 Kelly Road in Plant City. This is out in East County. This is a $1.99 million listing, 8,100 square feet, 12.89 acres, and the home has so many upgrades, so many features. It's a 4-car garage, drive-through garage with a separate workshop out back. Security systems, liquid insulation, a great property, 5421 Kelly Road in Plant City, as well as another Palm Harbor property. Now, this one goes out to also developers and builders out there, 1377 Enniswood Parkway in Palm Harbor. Attention builders, developers. This is 2.27 acres in the heart of Palm Harbor, and it's close to all the amenities. We just reduced it down to $470,000, 5-bedroom, 2-bath property, but there is an opportunity to develop and build more units around this beautiful property. Great area in Palm Harbor area in Tampa Bay. And check us out, consumerqb.com. You can submit an email form there at consumerqb.com, or you can also submit the form there at consumerqb.com. Call directly at 813-670-7372. That is our consumer advocate hotline. And we've got our expert contributors here in studio. So, Jason, Shawn, you guys ready for this top 10?
Let's do it.
Top 10 TV shows. Top 10 TV shows of all time.
It's my quarterback.
Remember this one too, by the way?
It's my quarterback.
Can you hear that?
It's my quarterback.
We need to lengthen that one up, Mike. I want to get Anthony to lengthen that one. But it's that's my quarterback. Remember T.O. saying, that's my quarterback, man, when they were picking on Tony Romo. He got hurt. But all right, so we're jumping into our top 10. So top 10 TV shows of all time. Jason Brooks.
Friends.
And Friends didn't make this list.
Should have.
But there's going to be different lists now. We got to preface that. There's going to be different lists with revenue or rating. This one's based more on ratings and the finales and all that stuff. So Friends, I give you that one. That one should be close to the top 10. I don't know. Let's see.
Number 11.
Yeah, let's see. All right, Shawn, give me a top 10 TV show.
MASH.
MASH that's another one that should be. Remember, we did that on a previous show though, and it was according to it was the highest ranked finales of all time, and it was still up there, and that was like 70s, right?
Right.
Yeah, like in the 70s, MASH was.
What about Seinfeld?
Seinfeld is on the list at number 10.
There you go.
So it debuted in 1989. The finale was 98, and the show about nothing, it says Seinfeld created, certainly got everyone talking, and 9 seasons on air.
These are not just sitcoms. These are all kinds of television shows, right?
Yeah, top 10 TV shows of all time.
If like American Idol would be on there.
American Idol, not on this list.
Yeah.
But they are putting out, I remember seeing things about American Idol in terms of the artist generating money and millions of dollars.
Right.
As far as like a what do you call it? Prop or a catapult.
And it's coming back. It moved to CBS, I think.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
It moved.
I think
Luke
Luke Bryan's on it now.
Yeah. What about country singers? What about The Simpsons?
The Simpsons is on here. Let's see, where are they at? Simpsons number 9.
Number 9. Okay.
So number 9 is Simpsons. Any more guesses?
You're gonna make us go in order? Do we have to figure out number 8?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. One of my favorites on HBO. We just finished watching the series, and it was, everybody, I'd talk about it every now and then.
Game of Thrones?
But no, I haven't started that one yet. I watched like the first one.
Listen,
the best one.
Careful.
Right?
I watched the entire 7 seasons of that in a month. I got hooked that bad.
Yeah,
it was horrible, and now I got to wait a year and a half because they don't come out for the next one for a year and a half.
Game of Thrones. I hear that's what a lot of people are saying. I was watching the Buccaneers training camp.
Oh, that's great too.
And they were talking about it a lot, of course, throwing it out there. Oh, yeah. But so another HBO one that I loved, it was great, was Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad, yeah.
Breaking Bad was pretty cool. It's a story of a cancer-stricken high school chemistry teacher, Walter White's transformation into the meth maker and drug kingpin Heisenberg. So that was some really good drama. It was interesting.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that was from AMC.
Who else do we have? I mean, really? I don't know. I don't watch TV.
Number one, they got the Wire.
The Wire, never even seen.
Which I haven't seen that. It's HBO as well, police drama. Number 2 was a big one, Gangsters back in the day. The guy died. We talk about him on the show because he didn't have an estate plan in place. James Gandolfini, a.k.a. Tony Soprano.
Is this number 1 for HBO? Because these are all HBO.
No,
a lot of them
they're
are.
mixed up. Yeah, they're mixed up.
HBO.
So this says that this one reshaped the modern day TV landscape, such as The Sopranos. Not only did to manage the balance of extreme large cast of characters, which was relatively new for television in the late 90s, but every single one of those characters was well written, memorable, and complicated as the story they served. All right, so number 3, this is an old one, The Twilight Zone.
There you go.
That one back in the day. Yeah, The Twilight Zone. All right, we said Breaking Bad. Number 5, Star Trek, the original series.
Oh, yeah. Duh.
For all the Trekkies out there.
New Trek's good, too.
Yeah?
That was a Star Wars guy.
There's another Star Trek coming out soon. Yeah.
And I Love Lucy debuted 1951. Finale was 1957.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Number 6. You don't know that one? Come on, you know that one. All right. Mad Men, number 7. And Lost, 2004.
Lost.
Wow.
There you go.
So there's your top 10. Top 10. So now you know. Now, if you didn't know, now you know. And then there's some extras that we threw in there. All right, let's go ahead and jump into our lightning round.
The lightning round!
I am so good at lightning rounds!
I majored in lightning rounds.
All right, top tips, things to do, nuggets of advice.
All right, so I mentioned this early in the show, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We are, anybody who makes application and or closes a loan this month, we are giving $200 per file to the Breast Cancer Awareness and $100 to the customer. So, and they can do with what they want. If they want to actually donate that, they can in their name, or they can just take it as a cash benefit. So, to go along with the fact that we have no closing costs, that's helpful.
Nice. Yeah, that's great. Thanks for doing that. Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Jason Brooks, eMortgage Management, Delbro team. Thanks for doing that. Shawn Yesner, top tips, nuggets of advice.
Feel like I got to go out and figure out some good cause now to donate to. I would say, someone told me once, the only thing more expensive than hiring a professional is doing it yourself.
Right.
So, like we said earlier in the program, don't believe everything you read on the internet. If you have questions, reach out. I'll give you a free consultation. It won't cost anything but an hour's worth of time, and we can go over all the options.
Yeah, absolutely. Be proactive. Reach out. Get the advice that you need. We talked a lot about bankruptcy law on the show today, and as a consumer advocate, that's one thing that we see is it causes divorce. It causes so many things when you have this financial stress looming. So if you're in that position, we would definitely urge you to reach out to Shawn Yesner. He's helped lots of my clients in the past, and just people I know that are in that position. So bankruptcy law here in Tampa Bay, we want you reaching out to Shawn Yesner, YesnerLaw.com. All right, let's do another round. Jason Brooks, top tips, things to do, nuggets of advice.
Okay, so we have a at the end of the day, just I would love to speak to somebody directly who's been turned down by a bank. It's almost like a challenge for us.
Yeah.
We get this all of the time. If we took no for an answer or listened to the client that told us no, I'm not able to qualify right now, we would do half of the business we do now. The First Step program we spoke about earlier, it's firststepprogram.net, all spelled out, firststepprogram.net. You can go on. It takes 2 seconds to fill it out. We will reach back out to you. We'll talk to you about the options that you have. Again, it costs you nothing throughout the process, and at least you will have a 100% understanding on how to get yourself in position to either purchase a home and or refinance the home that you have.
Like it. I like it. Words of wisdom from Shawn Yesner.
So one thing that I like to do is I want people to leave when they're done talking to me knowing that everything's going to be okay. So don't be intimidated. If you're being chased by a creditor, if someone's hounding you for money, don't be intimidated. There's not very much at the end of the day that they can do. Like we said, there's no debtor's prison anymore. So don't be intimidated by people trying to collect from you. Just let's figure it out. Let's address it and move on.
Yeah, absolutely. Save their number in their phone as no and just hit decline. So I want to thank our expert contributors, Jason Brooks, eMortgage Management, local lenders, support your local economy here in Tampa Bay, eMortgage Management, the Delbro team, and Shawn Yesner, attorney Shawn Yesner here, bankruptcy law, real estate law. And I want to thank all of our folks out there listening, our viewers of our TV show on WeBeam TV, 10 a.m. Weekdays. And, of course, we're right here, 5 o'clock drive time, AM 1380 The Biz, daily, your drive time. Primetime drive time, helping you win Sundays on 102.5 The Bone. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness, something as simple as packing up leftover foods, even clothing this time of year. It's starting to get cooler. It's going to get cooler, not yet, but bring in that stuff. Donate it to your churches, the local nonprofits, the folks that can get it to the right people. I carry it with me in food with me in my car. I hand it to the folks on the side of the road. You see them all the time here in Tampa Bay. So be a force for good out there. Help another. Be kind to one another, and continue to tune in to our show, the Consumer Quarterback Show, and consumerqb.com, helping you win in any marketplace. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show, weekday afternoons at 5 on AM 1380. The Biz.